The strength of the Indian nationalism was uh, uh, in 1916, the extremists led by Tilak had gained control of Congress. This led to the rise of Home Rule movement in India under the leadership of Dr. Annie Besant in South India and under the leadership of Tilak in Western India. The Congress was reunited during the war. The strength of the Indian nationalism was increased by the agreement signed between Hindus and Muslims known as the Lucknow Pact in 1916. Of all the repressive acts, the most draconic was the Rowlatt Act. This act was strongly criticized by the Indian leaders, and they organized meetings to protest against this. The international events too had its impact on India, such as revolution in Russia, the defeat of Turkey in World War One, and the severe terms of the Treaty of Sevres, signed thereafter under in the position of Sultan of Turkey as Khalifa. Out of the resentment was born the Khilafat movement. India and Indians had taken an active part in the war, feeling that Britain would reward India's loyalty, but only disappointment was in store. We may recall that many foreigners such as A.O. Hume had played vital role in our freedom movement in the early stages. Dr. Annie Besant played a similar role in the early part of the 20th century. Besant was Irish by birth and had been active in her Irish Home Rule, Fabian socialist and birth control movements while in Britain. She joined the Theosophical Society and came to India in 1893. She founded the Central Hindu College in Benares, later upgraded as Benares Hindu University by Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya in 1916. With the death of H. S. Olcott in 1907, Besant succeeded him as the international president of the Theosophical Society. She was actively spreading the theosophical ideas from its headquarters Adayar in Chennai and gained the support of a number of educated followers such as Jamnadas, Dwarakadas, George Arundel, Shankarlal Banker, Indulal Yagnik, C.P. Ramaswamy and B.P. Odhya. In 1914 was when Britain announced its entry in First World War. It claimed that it fighting for freedom and democracy. It was in this backdrop the Besant, Besant entered into Indian politics. She started the weekly The Commonweal in 1914. The weekly focused on religious liberty, national education, social and political reforms. She published a book, How India Wrought for Freedom in 1915. In books, she asserted the beginnings of the national consciousness are deeply embedded in the ancient past. She gave the call the moment of England's difficulty is the moment of India's opportunity. She visited she also tried to form an India party uh, in the parliament when she toured England but was unsuccessful. Her visit, however, aroused sympathy for India. On her return from London, England, she started a daily newspaper, New India, on July 14th, 1915. She revealed her concept of self-rule in a speech at Bombay. I mean by self-government that the country shall have a government by councils elected by the people and responsible to the host. She organized public meetings and conferences to spread the idea and demanded that India be granted self-government on the lines of the white colonies after the war. On September 20th, 1915, Besant made a formal declaration that she would start the Home Rule League movement for India with objectives on the lines of the Irish Home Rule League. The moderates did not like the idea of establishing another separate organization. She too realized that the sanction of the Congress Party was necessary for her movement to be successful. In December 1915, due to the efforts of Tilak and Besant, the Bombay session of Congress suitably altered the constitution of the Congress Party to admit the members from the extremist section. In this session, she insisted on the Congress taking up the Home Rule League program before September 1916, failing which she would organize the Home Rule League on her own. In 1916, two Home Rule Leagues were launched in the country, one under Tilak and other under Besant, with their spheres of activity well demarcated. The 10 objectives of the Home Rule League were establishment of home rule for India and British Empire and arousing in the Indian masses a sense of pride for the motherland. Indian Tilak Home Rule League was set up at the Bombay Provincial Conference held in Belgaum in April 1916.